This is Daf Yerushalmi Kilayim. In the article Oz V'Other edition, we are on Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph, right at the top, and we are in the Vilna edition. Should be on Daf Family Base. Shimon Barba. It's the third line down. Shimon B'Shem Yochanan said, "Kashem Shaluchim Khan." It's like to have machlokes here by the kerem, which is too tight, and it's still called a kerem because you're going to eventually uproot the ones in the middle. We have a similar issue by Chachukim Shchunas Kvaros. They argue also by a Shchunas Kvaros, and the Shchunas Kvaros is in a neighborhood of graves, and the Mishnah Olo says that you find three kvarim, and between each kever there's a shear, the proper shear. Then you have to which you need the distance between graves, which is an amma. Then that's considered to be a shchunas kvaros, and you have to check 20 ammas on each side of the kvaros you find if there are additional kvarim. But you found kvaros which are too close together. Now it's within an amma of each other. There's no cheska shchunas kvaros, and we say, well, it must be that there's not a basic kvaros, but a avalanche fell on them and buried them here. So Shimon Chachamim argue there as well. Chachamim say if it's a situation where if we remove the middle kvaros, there'll still be three kvarim amma gap from each other between kever to kever, so it's considered to be a shchunas kvaros. And we just look at the middle ones if they're not there, and the Gemara is going to explain why. According to Shimon, we don't say that, and the same machlekes we have over here about rowing. Over we have there also about rowing. Okay, so Rabbi Yoina said, "Lo damya, they're not comparable." Taman muruvachim, the Ratzfan, there, if they're too widely scattered, and you pack them closer together, the yeshlim shkunas kvaros. Then you have a shkunas kvaros because you obviously were making a basic kvaros when you filled in the gaps. But if they were close together and then you spread them further apart, now doesn't mean you literally spread them apart, but you found them spread apart. It's no shkunas kvaros. But here, meruvachim, it's so fun. Here, if they were scattered and you put them close together, but machlekas. In other words, if you planted ones in the middle, this is going to be a machlekas, whether it's considered to be a kerem or not. And again, here it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually planted ones in the middle, but if it's ritzufin, that's a machlekes. Is it considered to be a kerem because roid or not? But ritzufin v'ravchan. But once you actually did remove the middle ones, everybody agrees it's a kerem. So you can't compare the two. There, it's where they're further apart. It's not a shkunas kvaros. Here, where they're further apart, it is a kerem. There, where they're close together, it is a shkunas kvaros. Here, where they're close together, it's not a kerem. So it's not necessarily comparable. So bramhacha maplin. So that's my shkunas kvaros. B'shabar mitzvah rutufin. You found that they're too close together. B'shimon omer ani gadol nafal leim ritzafan. Rabbi Shimon says, I say that an avalanche fell there and packed them close together like a mass grave, and therefore it's not a shkunas kvaros, so you don't have to touch 20 amos on each side. But I mean, said they ran out of room. Once at a time they had proper spacing. Then they lost proper spacing, and therefore they're much closer to squeezed together. But it's still shkunas kvaros, so therefore you still have to touch 20 amos beyond the last kever which you found. So it's a different machlekes, not the machlekes of rowing. Machlokes of what we assume the scenario was, which led to this having taken place. Okay, says the Mishnah Halacha Gimel. Achorishu over bekerem omakasor bracha barba. You have a trench which passes through a vineyard. It's 10 fucking deep, and it's 4 fucking broad. There's a Yaakov Omer Imayam a foolish Moshekim Ad Sofo. If it runs through the entire vineyard from beginning to end. Hare ze nira kivein shnei kramim. So then the trench looks like it's between two vineyards. Zorim b'tocha. You can plant within it. Being loud, but if not, hare kagas. Looks like a wine press. It doesn't look like a separate area. It's like it's a wine press. Interesting they put it. It's like kind of like a tashish of a carrot. Excuse me. Um, okay, then no additional comment there. Um, and therefore, you can't plant down there. Hagasha b'kerem. What if you have an actual wine press of kerem? If it is 10 amos deep and 10 fucking deep and four amos broad, so then the four is four tefachim, wasn't it? No, it's four amos. 4 amos. So let's say it's 4 amos. So if you have a gash kerem, mukasar rochav haba, zoyin besocha divi Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer holds you can plant in it. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov holds not that way, but he holds like chacham osrin. It's the gas and middle kerem is not considered to be distinct enough. Shomer shebekerem gava asar rochav arba. If you have a shomer, which is a mound, on which a shomer sits to watch the vineyard. So obviously it's made out of dirt, so you can plant there. Zorim besocha, you can plant on the top of that mound. Bima yaser kotesh aser. But if the leaves of the grapevines, or the foliage grapevines, go over the top of that mound, it's no good. Kemishitu begas or beneka. If you have a grapevine which is planted in a gas, in other words, in that hole, which we talk about till now, or some other hole. No single avodah, you give it its avodah, which is 6 tvachim, and then zoreh and most you can plant everything else in that hole. If you don't have 4 amos, lo yavi zer l'sham. You have to have 4 amos each side, because the gas is like a karach, it's a kerem. It's not. It's not. It's considered to be too hemmed in. V'abayis shebekerem zorim mosa. Excuse me. If you have a house, obviously house is distinct from everything else, then then you can plant in that house. Okay, so let's just see. Hold on a minute now. Second here. Okay, one more line. We're finished with the class on the base. So says Gemara. Achi and Mavrik kidehu v'avodaso. So this choritz, when it goes for Koros Miyachim, goes from one end of the field to the other. So for does it also have to go beyond that according to Amos, or is it enough that it goes throughout the entire kerem? And this we have a picture here to show. This goes beyond. In other words, it goes 4 amos beyond on each side. Does it have to go that 4 amos beyond on each side, or can it stop at the edge of the kerem on both sides? That's what is like lightning bolt, which goes through. Mimatai Moyachon Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov b'choritz. Since it says that Chachamim can see that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is a choretz kidei mavri kidei hu v'avodaso. That they say, okay, and that we agree with you. If it's choretz and it's mavrik, so then we agree you can plant the choretz. So it must be that the Cain, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, so remain mafilei mavrik kidei hu v'avodaso. So it must be that Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov himself holds it doesn't have to be mavrik kidei hu v'avodaso. Right? If the Rabbi Eliezer could see the point by mavrik kidei hu v'avodaso, it must be that they're still arguing about something else. They're arguing about where it's not Marbik the whoever. But also, as me hold still that's good enough as long as Mefulish and Yishar El Shar, to use an Arabic term, as Rabbanan hold that that's not enough. And I believe that brings us to the Mem Test Ahmed Aleph. Yes. Okay. Okay, then we're going to start from Ma'aplin to Shem. Start Mem Test tomorrow.